All right, let's load back in, and we are back. There we go. Look through the courtyard. We're gonna go. No. Oh no. What? Oh no. Oh. Whoops. Whoops. Reload. Whew. I broke it. Need to get it. After I get the PC upgrade that I want to get, I really want to get a Stream Deck so I can have certain commands like this one keyed up and I can just pop it. Same thing with shout outs. It's so much easier. Probably have sounds and GIFs and all of that. But yes, I am pro streamer. I fucking broke it again. I do not want to go to work tomorrow. I'd much rather stay home. Also, I know violent. They broke into my house. Touche. You missed me breaking the game. What? There we go. Like I broke the game though. Like not good broke the game. Like there we go.
Welcome, sir. I do hope you enjoy yourself.
That's a lot of knives. Yeah.
Enjoy the event, sir.
I'm so excited about the event. Oh, I heard the finale will be splendid. All those beauties. Manchester's is the best, as always.
Let me see that stallion up close. I should write to my friend about the handsome men here. He'd appreciate it.
The murderer had to have access to this room. After the crime, he used his own key to lock the door. So, who had the key to the altar?
I'm not sure. As a special guest, I was provided one by Mr. Manchios. He should be able to tell you of any others.
Where can I find him?
Most likely in the main hall, entertaining his guests. He has a mask with golden stars. You can't miss him. But please be discreet. We don't want to risk disturbing the revelry.
Okay. Mask with gold stars. Hmm.
Is this familiar to you?
Excuse me, what? I'm not sure I know.
Are you able to help me?
I can't help you with that, sir.
Oh, I am bored. Call me when you find the answer.
Shut up, John, you asshole. Another one.
Can you satisfy my curiosity?
Excuse me? What? I'm not sure I know.
Excuse me, just one question.
Excuse me? What? I'm not sure I know.
Everyone's looking at us, Sherry. You sure you know what you're doing?
May I ask you something?
I can't help you with that, sir.
Kurt Manchios, I presume. I'm Sherlock
There we
Holmes.
go.
Oh, you must be the one, Vernon.
An ultra-wealthy secret orgy with at least 2 murders is considered gouch. So plan accordingly. Have a good night, Rick. Thank you so much, my friend.
As you wish, Mr. Manchios. Mr. Vogel asked me to help you. The body in the altar room requires answers, and quickly. I suspect the murderer to still be here.
What? Lower your voice. I don't want anyone to hear us.
Did you know Fabio well?
People are starting to look at us, Sherlock. Change the subject. I can't believe what happened to him. To me. Such an atrocity. Think what it means for me. A wonderful evening for so many good, influential, and rich people has been ruined. I have betrayed all my promises of exotic delight.
Yes, you're the victim here.
Surely a murder would affect your reputation to a greater extent.
Please, isn't this why you are here? I thought you were a silent magician. Do your tricks and make it go away.
I need to find all those who had the key to the altar room. As far as I know, Mr. Vogel, Fabio, and you had access to it. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes. Also, Matista and Santos.
Santos? Who is that?
Santos Pinchetti, my major domo. In his opinion, at least.
I'd like to speak to Mr. Pinchetti and Matista. Do you have somewhere I might have a private conversation with them?
Of course, of course. Let me think. Matista is entertaining the guests somewhere, and Santos... Oh, yes. He will be busy with the servants. Or the cook. What's that noise? What's going on?
Uh-oh.
Please, filth. You're under arrest.
Great. The fuck? What the shit is going on? What the fuck? The Nutcracker Suite? I don't understand. Also, why was the guy on the table? Why were they boot kicking a dude down the stairs? And why were there flower petals coming out of the shotguns?
Committed a crime, and now I have to free you, kiss your hand, and apologize for the inconvenience. Your Grace.
I did tell you that Mr. Vogel and I were innocent. I emphasized it in my statement.
Your statement? Thanks to some bigwigs who work for the so-called good of the country by releasing fleas like you. Thank God we have Vogel in his letter. Once I get to that goldfish, I'll...
Bigwig. Oh, my wretched brother Mycroft and his long nose.
Wait, did you say Mycroft? Mycroft Holmes?
Because
Are
it's
you the
art.
youngest son of Violet?
Wrong.
Rest her soul.
You knew my mother?
Not personally, no. Not exactly. I was working on the paperwork for that case.
Would you happen to remember anything of the events?
Well, I didn't make the inquiry, but I remember seeing some notes. Why?
Perhaps we can negotiate. I could be quite useful.
Huh. Got you hooked, right? You know what? Stark and the others think they're the smartest here, thanks to you. Let me get this straight. Are you listening to me, lad?
I'm all ears.
Take this case. Report to me only, to Constable Harvey Oswald. I'll leave everything I have on this table. Find the murderer. Be a real copper. Question the suspects, make them sing, give me something substantial.
And if Mr. Vogel is not a suspect?
If he's innocent, then you can take your favourite degenerate away from here. If you slip or mess with the evidence, then trust me, your brother won't save you from my bludgeon. Meanwhile, I'll be checking the
Fair.
archive for you. If anybody asks, then you're a consulting detective.
Let's make a start then, partner.
I'm glad we managed to get the scoop before the raid.
Following a report from witness of a satanic ritual who claimed to have found a body, the raid on the Manchios mansion was granted. It resulted in the arrest of multiple suspects and dispersal of the group in masks and robes, caught in the acts of gross indecency and unnatural behavior. The body of the victim was found lying on an altar with a knife wound in his chest. The officers identified the victim, Fabio, 20, a local performer and artist. Arrested suspects. V. Vogel had a letter of an insulting nature in his possession which had been written by the victim. He claims to have found the body. He is infamous for his eccentric personality. S. Holmes carried a murder weapon, a dagger with the victim's blood, and other items of evidence. He was invited to by another suspect, V. Vogel, presumably to obstruct the official investigation. K. Manchios, the owner of the mansion and organizer of the satanic party, paid the victim to participate in the ritual, had access to the crime scene. Batista, Fabio's partner, participated in the ritual, tried to escape, resisted arrest, owned a book with a description of the ritual performed in the altar room. Some of the guests are temporarily detained for further questioning.
Back on track to solve the case.
Pi Santos Pinchetti and witness to reports a suspicion of murder at Manchios mansion in Grand Surrey. In preparation for the social party, I heard loud noise come from the closed altar room. Immediately, I thought of the sacrifice of a living being overviewed by none other than Kurt Manchios. There's blood on the walls, strange symbols, and a dagger in the heart. As soon as I was able to think clearly, I rushed to the police station and report my findings. The station responded to the deposition by sending a patrol while the witness left the station and went home. The provider of this ticket has permission to inspect all evidence on case number 62-60. Okay. Mind plays. Check the casebook first. Shetty is a major domo. The Shetty suspect who should be arrested in question. He had a key in which okay.
Look, I found Werner.
This area is restricted.
Good day, Mr. Manchios. I am Constable Oswald's partner in this investigation.
Be quick and gentle. Some of your colleagues are untrained boors. Although I don't mind meeting young officers.
God damn it.
If you cooperate in finding Fabio's murderer, there will be no need to meet with the Boers again.
That voice. Werner's friend? You're the policeman. What a disappointment.
Only an undercover agent can scour a ditch full of deviants. I am a consulting detective, although I'm capable of replacing the entire department through my consultations.
Sharp-tongued, I like it. May I presume this tongue will get us out of this trouble? I would be so indebted and glad to repay you.
Nothing's changed. I'm looking for the murderer. That's the only way to get us out of trouble.
But it shouldn't take much time, correct? We're all busy after all.
Oh, fuck yourself. Where's makeup? Brush from exposure to hair dye. Washed hands in a hurry. Super expensive. That Manchios is extremely rich, eccentric, and frivolous. He is the organizer of the parties for known as Elite and the owner of classic gentry type. The owner of the Manchios mansion. He spends his life in the company of similarly overprivileged people. However, Mr. Manchios wishes to hide his true age from the younger participants of his parties. He's concerned with aging to the point that he uses makeup and hair dye to look younger. Nothing can hide that receding hairline, though, homie.
Mr. Manchios, is it so difficult for you to acknowledge your age?
Well, Sherlock, that's easy for you to say to an old man when you look as though you are barely 15.
But still, it shouldn't be an issue for someone of your status.
For people of my age, it isn't an issue, no. But the younger ones can be so afraid of wrinkles and grey flecks. I have to adapt.
Also, those giant ears are a dead giveaway too, bud.
Under his fingernails. Are you so impatient, or perhaps even impulsive?
I wouldn't call myself that. Silly little details. If I missed it, it wasn't important. Or rather, it was less important than who or what I was focused on.
What was Fabio like? His personality, his habits? Anything you can tell me?
He was the brightest star of my parties. Young, magnetic, and full of energy. I don't even want to meet
Right?
his beauty. Otherwise, I'll be sobbing.
An expensive champion, I imagine.
His performances were flawless. He deserved his payment. Do you think he was murdered because of money?
Possibly. What about the other guests? Were they used to opening their wallets as well?
I wouldn't restrict my guests from anything. I'm sure Fabio received a few coins from others for his services.
Mr. Vogel told me a little about your parties, but I would like to know more directly from you.
I'm all yours, Sherlock. You have me arrested and locked here with you alone.
I'd like to know...
This dude, man. Absolute predator.
Who are able to leave
He might not be a murderer, but he's a fucking predator.
forbidden fruit without prejudice. There is nothing that quite spices up life like these parties, assuming one is old enough and has worked many years for the good of one's country. For the good of one's country.
Oh, all true laborers, I see. Why did you invite Mr. Vogel as your special guest?
He's a pretty fellow. He's capable of surprising the public. He has a talent for saying words that no one else would wish to either say or hear.
I suppose I can't argue with that.
He is a free addition to the eccentricity of the party, which is fine by me, as long as it enhances my party.
But this is like excessively predatory, though.
Mr. Manchios. Wait just a moment, I have something to check. I'm Sherlock Holmes. I'm helping Constable Oswald. You are Matista, Fabio's friend.
This body, yes, it's Matista. But it's a mere shell that will die someday. Just like Fabio.
Please accept my condolences for your friend.
Thank you.
I'm just here to ask questions and find Fabio's murderer.
It will not bring Fabio back.
Rid of a cult tattoo. Bit nails. Self-inflicted wounds, but only on one arm. Same brand. Bunch of shackle scars. Jews sold into slavery. And she was choked. I'm pretty sure she's now currently disassociating from her body. Batista, the performer and Fabio's partner, has had a difficult life. She was branded and enslaved while still a child. While enslaved, she met Fabio, hence a similar branding. Old scars are a result of her slavery. During adolescence, she continues to be haunted by those traumatic experiences. Matista seems to be pragmatic about her body after years of abuse. She sells herself to guests who do whatever they want to her. She's not afraid to step over the line. Also, Matista marks her body with ink.
You have both old and new scars. Some from the time when you were a slave with Fabio. Other scars have a different origin. The guests pay good money to torment you?
I am skilled in giving pleasure, but I don't participate in such practices.
I thought your body was...
For sale? It's true. Many unwanted things were done to my body. And the pain helped me to discover...
Occult deities? Yes, the tattoo speaks loudly of it.
Yes. Your gods abandoned me, and the ones I favor now are more protective of me.
How did you escape? Did you escape?
Something happened. One night the master fell down the stairs. I made him fall, and he died. We ran away that day. We managed to get on a ship and traveled here, to Gordona. Fabio and I started a new life here. It was very hard at first, but it became better with time. Until today.
The bruises on your neck are not self-inflicted. Someone else made them.
Some guests can't contain themselves. They even bite, sometimes.
Werner, are you all right?
Oh, yes, yes. Everything's fine. In fact, it's something of a family reunion. My brother spent quite some time in this place himself.
You should not be here. I told the police everything I knew, but they refused to let you go. They require proof to free you.
Ha! What did you expect? The mighty Sherlock Holmes swans in, tells the officers what to think, and the world obeys?
Of course not.
Not yet.
I struck a deal with the constable, and I've got a free hand in the investigation. I find proof to solve the case for him. He obtains files about my mother's death for me.
Well done. If one has the power or will and can act, then one must. I wonder, Suppose you couldn't get the proof to your truth. Would you tell a lie to the guard that enabled my freedom, knowing my innocence? Would that not be just?
There are lines I will not cross, Werner. I will do my best to secure your release, but with proof, not deception.
Really? How many white lies have you told on this island? Why not for me? Why not another?
That is absurd. I can resolve this without compromises. Do not give up hope. Let me see what I can do about all this.
Can't go in.
That's not something I know much about. You'd better ask someone else. You'd better ask someone else. That's not something I know much about.
Do you have any idea who tipped off the police to raid your mansion, Mr. Mancio?
Of course. It was you. I could even say you Sherlocked me in here.
A good guess, but the wrong one. The fellow who did that was Mr. Pinchetti, your major domo.
What? Santos? But how could he even know? If he's not the murderer himself. The ungrateful swine. He has dared to besmirch my reputation.
Let me guess, Santos got too old for you?
Choice of words?
What should I call him then, since he's a snitch? Make him talk, Sherlock. I'm quite certain he knows more about the murder than he has told the police. I've no idea about that. You'd better ask someone else. You'd better ask someone else. That's not something I know much about. I've no idea about that. You'd better ask someone else. You'd better ask someone else.
You bought an expensive pair of cufflinks for Fabio. Were they his
So he's a scorned lover?
for an exclusive show?
It was pure business. Fabio escorted me a few times.
Or
Showing my gratitude.
This pair cost a small fortune. You must be extremely grateful then. Tell me more.
You've thrust a knife in an exposed nerve, Sherlock. Yes, he was my protege and my beacon also. With my experience and his beauty, we could have achieved anything. I had faith in him. I would have made him.
I know I can handle the news.
I'm not supposed to know anything about this. I can't follow you here. I don't think I can tell you anything about this.
I have learned who told the police about the crime. It was Santos Pinchetti.
Do I know him?
The major...
Pen and Company Inc., if you will.
He cleans up after you?
Well, then he does his job perfectly. All but invisible. I couldn't tell you the first thing about him.
The fuck?
I don't think I can tell you anything about this. I don't think I can tell you anything about this. You'd better ask me a question I know how to answer. I've nothing to say about this. I've nothing to say about this.
Have you considered Mr. Santos Pinchetti as a suspect?
The snitch? Have you seen him? I mean, my breath could knock him down. What's so special about him?
As a major domo, he has keys that open all the rooms, including the one to the crime scene. Could have testified only to circumvent suspicion, don't you think? We need to question him.
Right. I'll send our men to fetch him. Stay here. They brought him in, Mr. Holmes. Here's the key to interrogation room number 7. Mr. Pinchetti didn't even resist, our men said.
Thank you.
Don't look at them. They'll serve us if necessary.
Number 7?
Mr. Pinchetti, a pleasure to meet you. I'm Sherlock Holmes. I'm helping Constable Oswald.
I've already told him everything I know. I'm only a witness, sir. Everything's in my report.
And I've read it. You forgot to mention that you hold the keys to the room where Fabio was found. I need only to find if the crime was intentional.
But I need to return to my duties.
I doubt the house will fall without you, Mr. Pinchetti. Just be still for a few seconds.
Santos Pinchetti is the head servant in the Manchios mansion. Despite being employed at the highest position within the household, he appears to be poor. His body shows symptoms of psoriasis. Mr. Pinchetti hides his damaged skin under layers of makeup. The majordomo's suit had multiple holes that have been patched or sewn. To renovate the suit, Mr. Pinchetti had dyed it.
You are the majordomo of a rich mansion, and you seem barely able to afford decent clothing. You hide, under heavy makeup, a skin disease that might be treated with more onerous but less harmful means. Do you have money troubles?
I do not have a lot of means. The pay is below what you might expect.
But you could easily change your job if your employer does not meet your elementary needs.
One can change his employer, that is true.
And the blood on your shoe, where does that come from?
I don't actually know. Perhaps from a guest?
Did you know Fabio?
Not personally. He was a frequent guest, and cleaning the mess after his performances was tedious. Mr. Manchios always had a role for him, and mainly the leading one. The parties were always, Fabio-centric?
And Batista? Was she as popular as her partner?
Don't tell her I said this, but I do not think so. Mr. Manchios hired her only because Fabio refused to work without her. Mr. Manchios used to see her as a worker. She was tasked with entertaining the guests, unlike Fabio, who could pick and choose. Please let me out.
No.
I recognize the key from the altar room among these.
A small note attached to the will says, Santos, my hopeful slug. You begged me to include you in my will, so I did. Here's my latest revision of the will. The text of the will under the note. Santos Pinchetti, the majordomo of the Manchios mansion, receives a jar of mustache wax and a salt lamp that he might always remember his current employer, Kurt Manchios. Okay. So Manchios is a dick.
You begged him to be included in the heritage. Isn't that a little extreme, even for a majordomo?
He's not only my employer, he's my uncle. And I'm his next of kin. The only one. Mr. Manchios flatly refuses to pay a family member. All I have to do is repay his so-called love. cleaning up the filth after perverts and decadents. He's imprisoned me. The best I can hope for is a new broom. That's why I wanted to have my part of the inheritance.
Is it that bad? You have a roof above your head,
Okay.
a salary, and the status of a major domo.
For God's sake. I'm forced to dye and stitch my threadbare clothes, and the holes in my shoes are painful. I'm ashamed every time a guest looks at me closely.
Why?
Bit classist there, you fucking asshole, Sherlock.
Sister had me illegitimately. She died, and I was given the surname of one of the maids.
But you are entitled to some of the money that belongs to your family.
He thinks not. I was not responsible for my mother's death. I work hard, and he pays me nothing. I feed on the leftovers. While he wastes our estate's property on decadent parties, he paid Fabio handsomely and showered him with expensive gifts for their disgusting relationship.
Yay.
That's not something I know much about.
This is, though.
I've read the letter about your will. A harsh method of ridiculing Santos. I doubt he will use mustache wax when he wears no mustache to begin with.
Where did you get it? Is the slug here? Tell him I shouldn't have to provide for him. He's a grown man who shouldn't sit on his uncle's neck. He conceives himself as my only heir.
And who is he to you?
He's a leech on my aging body. He has only added problems to my life since the death of his mother.
I fail to see why you made him your major domo.
He needed to know his place, so I taught him. I can't wrap my head around such a tragedy at my party.
I know I can handle the news.
Okay, so she's got nothing else for me. Does Vogel have anything else?
I know you can untangle this mess.
Please let me out.
All right. Herman chose carefully to prepare himself for the depravity. Jesus separates from body from brutal interactions with the guests during the party. During their fight in the smoking room, Fabio bruised Matista. Matista suffered bruises in her body from brutal interactions. Panchetti has been forced to work for court machos in desperate hope of obtaining heritage, but it hasn't paid off.
continue our investigation while I look for the papers.
Good day. Your ticket, please, if you want me to help you.
I'd like to check the evidence from this case.
And who are you?
Oswald sent me. I'm a consulting detective.
He's
Oh, we got an ad starting, everybody. We're gonna go to break after I get through this interaction.
What a bunch of...
Right, we're gonna go to break now. I'll see everybody soon. Hey everybody, ToddFather6 here signing off. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you want to see more, click the videos that are listed or hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications in order to be notified when I've got more posted. Until then, as always, be good, be kind, be safe. See you next time.